Hello, right. I'm just going to do a quick review of the year as it's near its end, and I'm thinking about what it must look like for long-term members of the Labour Party. I presume that they look back on 2015 with great fondness, remembering the good old days. Yes, that was indeed Labour's good old days, and no doubt members of the Labour Party, long-term members of the Labour Party, look back on that with fondness as the Conservative lead in the opinion polls continues to grow. Obviously, all the new members who would rather have the Labour Party as a protest movement rather than a serious political organisation for the change and for the betterment of Britain actually quite like how it's gone. But I'm just thinking about how awful it must be for long-term Labour members who have devoted so much of their lives to the party. One of the most interesting things that I was asked during the general election campaign was, are you planning on standing in the by-election? My reply was, I am campaigning for Ben Gummer. To which they replied, and they always claim to be an expert on everything, when Ben loses, will you be standing in the by-election? I said, I am campaigning for Ben Gummer. And he said, so you don't intend there to be a by-election? And I basically said, no, I don't. You see, and the thing is because I wanted Ben to beat him this year so I can beat him next year. You see, it makes sense. But that was the most interesting thing I was up. Well, I mean, some of the reasons people gave to us for voting Conservative are good. They like employment going down. They like the economy growing. Ed Miliband's a prat. But these kind of, really good answers. I want less people on benefit and more people in work. Good question, good answers. Basically, Labour offered nothing, and they offer even less now. They're just, well, I think it's quite good how they've gone, actually. The country's a lot safer now. Well, except with them unelectable. But let's not forget that they are a serious threat to national security. Some people on the left are concerned that Prince Charles gets to see cabinet papers. I'm more concerned about Jeremy Corbyn seeing cabinet papers and passing them on to his mates in Daesh. I mean, that is a serious scare. These people are now a threat to national security. Anyway, that's enough on the general election. I don't feel sorry for the Labour. It really has been a good year for the Conservatives, though. Unemployment's carried on going down, the economy's carried on growing, and the left are just getting more and more annoyed, and the more horrible they get, the less people are likely to want to vote for them, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Okay, on a serious note, this year we've had a couple of tragic losses, locally and nationally. Locally and for the Labour Party, we've lost Matthew Percy, and nationally and for the Conservative Party, we've lost Elliot Johnson. Both were a tragic loss of young lives, and both were victims of bullying, and I guess we all have to take responsibility to stop young people being bullied to this point, or anyone bullied to the point where they feel that suicide is the best way out. I really don't know how to express my feelings about this. It's just a complete waste of life, isn't it? Now, politics can be very vicious and hard, and one of the things in politics that one has that basically a lot of the time it's not a good idea to show your weaknesses or let anybody know what they are, which basically means if somebody is under stress when they're in politics, it's very difficult for them to tell anybody, because basically weaknesses can be used against them, and politics is a dirty, messy game. It's an honourable calling, but it's also very messy, which makes it difficult for young people, especially when they're being bullied. Now, concerning Elliot Johnson, met Elliot. He was a very nice bloke. Met Mark Clark as well. I think that it's quite good that Mark Clark is no longer a member of the Conservative Party, and I think that he should remain not a member of the Conservative Party. Good that a couple of his friends are no longer a member, and I think the quicker Lord Feldman resigns, the better. That's all I'm saying. Right, now, concerning Matthew, that's a real waste of a lot of talent. He was one of the good guys. I do know that some people in the local Labour Party were concerned about his mental health, but others were kind of not that bothered. But let's not be rotten. We must stop this kind of thing happening in the future for anybody. I think that's all I've got to say about that, really. One of the things that happened near the end of this year was the floods in Carlisle. I'll just do this here, yeah? Right, hello. Not this summer gone, but the summer before, I did some video clips from the great border city where the people are just and fear not. Anyway. Okay, that's all from Carlisle. This is a riverside view. Well, actually, you've got one going at one. Right, yeah, that was where the River Caldew joins the River Eden in Bitts Park in Carlisle. Now, to work out what the flood was like, now imagine that water there, the level of it, being about 6 foot above my head. Okay, that's all from Carlisle. This is a riverside view. Well, actually, you've got one going at one. I reckon that puts it in perspective. I think this is the last one I'm doing of these videos this year, so have a nice Christmas, Merry Christmas, have a nice 2015, unless you are a member of the Labour Party and want to do well in any council elections next year. There's no point in wishing that, because that's Jeremy Corbyn. He's presently Labour leader. Labour are not going to have a very nice time next year. May he have a very happy new year, though, and may he remain leader of the Labour Party until 2020. But anyway, have a nice Christmas in the meantime.